morning, everybody.
Good morning.
That sounds a lot better. I'm going to make that spirit.
Not fun.
It woke me up for a bit. Good morning again. My name is William Childers. I'm the executive director of the Blue Board, and I welcome you here. I don't see very many visitors here. Except for one, two, three kind of visitors. And before, so I don't know a lot of detail, but you guys know the process. Before we do anything, I'm going to ask you to silence your cell phones. I'm going to put them on vibrate so that we don't have any interruptions. So, correct it. So with that said, we'll get started in 2 seconds today. As you know, the process is very straightforward. The first session will be the committee meetings, and after the committee meetings, we'll have the board meeting. Probably have like a 10 to 15 minute break in between. Details I don't go into for the most part. But I do want to welcome Mr. Kevin Reynolds, who is on the board. Welcome. And if you don't mind, the secretary has to introduce ourselves so that we know who what we're ourselves, right? I'm Barton, Beach Board, Barton. I'm Nick Rush, consumer.
Kevin, I was going to say that. I'm Kevin Reynolds from Reynolds View Subaru in Orange, Virginia.
Jeff Ballard, Ike's Auto Sales, Alaska.
Almost done right auto through the morning.
John Bates, RK Chevrolet Subaru in East Virginia. Chris Mayer, Corporate Nation, Manchester, Virginia.
I'm Andrew Wiley. I own Consumers Auto Warehouse in Stanton, Virginia.
Don Sullivan, Sullivan Auto Trade. Thank you. Appreciate the introduction. The board is kind of small right now, but we do have a lot of vacancies. Mr. Bruce Slaughter was replaced last week. His replacement was week. And we went down to two contractors. It was a small appointment place, so we will accept this. I think you all familiar how to get to the restroom, down the door to the left. No questions?
We're going to call the Dealer Practices Committee meeting to order. Alice, can you please take the roll?
Wiley,
Here.
Alexis Walker Catholic, Dave Garden,
Here.
Melissa Dunn, here, Chip Lindsey, Mayor,
Here.
Jeff Omega, Nick Rush,
Here.
Don Sullivan.
Here.
Quorum. Regarding public comment, if you're on the agenda, you'll be able to speak when your agenda item comes up. Public comments are welcome, but they're limited to topics that are on the agenda. So if you'd like to make a public comment, make yourself known. There's no objections. The July 2024 meeting summary is in the book. We'll consider it approved. For old business, there's no old business. Is there any old business from the floor? Moving on to new business, William, if we could start with tab 1.
Tab 1, TAG Auto Sports and James C. Taylor. On June 9th, 2024, an informal fact-finding conference was conducted to address the alleged violations of Virginia Code sections 46.2-1533, 46.2-1542B, and 46.2-1575, number 2. Based on the information provided at the conference, the hearing officer recommended assessing a civil penalty of $1,000 and satisfactory inspection within the next 90 days.
Is there anybody here to speak to this case? All right, so I'm guessing everybody read it. There was a random inspection in March, and they weren't open, came back in April, still not open. At the same time, we got a complaint about a title issue at the dealer board. During the hearing, the gentleman just said there were issues with his landlord. He supposedly left notes. We didn't see any notes. Not that you can just leave notes. Anyway, so the recommendation was $250 for failure to maintain hours, $250 for failure to respond to a written warning or comply with a written warning, and $500 for the title issue, and then a satisfactory inspection. Yeah,
I have a question.
do we handle, William, how do we handle title issues? People that are not giving consumers title within 30 days. This is a $500 fine. So does the customer still not get a title, or do they skirt around the title once they get a fine? Or how's that happening in your way?
Our process is, well, you know, titles belong to the dealership, so what we do is we work the dealership, talk to the dealership, we make notes. After certain time period, we forward the case to the MVDB office.
And they go for prosecution or further investigation?
Their call.
What could be either or? We don't know what to do. And I'm trying to understand the roadmap there. What typically happens in that scenario? They send them a letter, hey, you got a problem with the consumer, they didn't get the title, or they go right for prosecution. You don't know?
I have no idea. You know what's up with it?
Yeah. Usually what happens is the agent will contact the dealer, and in many ways we can resolve it with the dealer, because once we call the dealer, it's serious. If they don't, then there's the option of, we can either take it through our process with the hearing, or we can charge them. It just depends on the severity, depends on how many times they've done it, or if they're cooperating, not cooperating. Something like that.
So it's not an immediate prosecution, it's more like, hey, we need to get you on quick before
So when does it come in a place where you can't get the title and he's asking the customer to bring the car back? And if the customer refuses to bring the car back.
There are many scenarios there like you just gave. One of the things that could possibly happen would be that if the dealer is talking to us about the fact that having a hard time getting the title, he can still probably process the car under a hill. Customers not harmed.
Yeah.
But in most cases, we don't know these circumstances. They don't tell us.
I don't believe he ever did that part. But I'm just saying, what if you sell the car and you tell the customer, look, we can't get this title.
Well,
And bring the car back.
Well, I mean,
The money back.
and then there's processes in place that may be able to address that, those processes allow for these stuff. That's what I'm doing.
All right, so we
I
have
don't know if that answers.
so we have the hearing officer recommendation. Do we have a motion?
Let's accept the hearing.
So Nick Rush made a motion to accept the hearing officer's recommendation. Do we have a second? Alexis seconded it. Is there any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The motion carries. All right, William, we can move on to tab 2.
The Exclusive Auto Center Incorporated and Mohammed Salam. On June 26, 2024, an informal fact-finding conference was conducted to address the alleged violations of Virginia Code Sections 46.2-1500, 46.2-15.
Then in October 23, we did a random inspection. There were multiple issues, missing titles, dealer tag log was missing, salesperson wasn't on payroll. We only ended up finding them $250 and got a warning for everything else, and the dealer paid the fine. So roll around to March, we do another inspection, and even though I guess the narrative says they were a little better, pretty much still most of the issues still existed. Couldn't provide a dealer tag log, the files were still in disarray. They couldn't provide proof at the time the salesperson was on payroll. And so we offered a $750 fine, and they appealed it. The hearing officer actually recommended a $1,250 fine, $500 for the repeat offense on the salesman's record, $250 for the incomplete dealer records, $250 for the plate issues, $250 for failing to comply with a written warning, and a satisfactory inspection. So, what's the committee got?
I mean, I'm tempted to roll right along with the hearing officer on this, but this is a constant. You know what I mean? It seems almost like, and they're not showing up here. Yeah, if I got written up twice and I had $1,200 worth of stuff or whatever, I'd be right here saying, guys, I've got it together, I fixed the problem, I'm up. We don't have anybody here at all. And the one coming up here at Fairfax Motors, to me, is pretty egregious, and the guy's not here. So, I don't know. I'd almost be tempted to throw some more on the pile, but I'm okay with what everybody else wants to go with.
Yeah,
Money gets people's attention. $1,000, $1,200, like, hey, here's my check.
That is the fine schedule. Over time.
By law, we cannot charge more than $1,000 per parent. And what we've traditionally done is that when we do an incremental increase each time, usually in $250 increments, if something's pretty egregious, we can go straight to the 1,000. But you as a board, as a committee, you have the authority to do anything within our time. So technically, you could go $1,000 for each of the salaries to the co-house. But I caution you that when you do that, you set the precedent that we should not be consistent with the policy.
is this a relatively new dealer? 2021? Yeah, I mean, I agree, they were offered a $750 fine, and then maybe they're afraid that if they show up, we're gonna double their fine again or something, I don't know, maybe they figured it wasn't worth the effort, I'm not sure.
I think they built just to put on the thing. But if you thought you were in the right, you should show up.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, should we temporarily suspend their license? I mean, if we have a board where we're communicating with them and they're not communicating with us, then we have the,
Well, they're not required to show up here. I mean, I don't, I mean, I can understand us not, looking favorably upon it, but I don't know that we can punish them for not being here.
punishing them or our customers for them not being compliant. Our job is to protect the consumer.
Yeah, I understand that. I guess, this has already gone through kind of a process with a hearing officer, and they've reviewed it, and they've made recommendations based on the facts that they saw, and they did attend that. Again, I mean, there could be a number of reasons they didn't show up. One of which that comes to mind is that they showed up to the last one and the fine got worse. So maybe they want to leave well enough alone. I'm not sure.
Well,
But
nothing
it's
else.
up to the committee.
It appears that they don't seem to take it serious. It's repeat. And it's the same thing repeat. If nothing else, why don't we make it mandatory for them to do the class? To at least start there. To reinforce, hey, if you're not catching it the first time, let's start from scratch so you can at least,
Would your recommendation be with the hearing officer said fine amount and then add
Yeah.
the class?
Yeah.
I would say we probably need to bump it to 2,000 in class. Because obviously, they're not taking this thing very seriously.
I was thinking $2,000 was more realistic number as well, and I'm okay with the class. I'll certainly make sure that they get great education.
What do you want to bump? So they're at 1,250, but it's 500, 250, 250, 250. So
Just
what?
bump the 250s to 500.
Well, somebody needs to make a motion. Well, hold on. Here, Alvin.
Alvin Melendez with the VIADA. I happen to know James Taylor. He was the one from my hand first.
That's not this case. That was the previous case.
Oh, that was the previous case?
Give him some coffee.
All right, so Melissa, you want to make the motion
to increase the fine to 2,000 to cover, but a requirement that the class be.
and an inspection.
And a satisfactory inspection.
Okay, so the motion for Melissa is a $2,000 fine, which would be 500 for 1,500, 500 for 1,529, 500 for 1,548, and 500 for 1,575.2. Satisfactory inspection and attend the 2-day dealer operating class.
Within how much time?
I mean, we always say 90 days.
So for the class.
Oh, for the class?
For the class, we give them a 6 month period.
Okay.
That's not even a month.
And that's the, excuse me, I just wanna ask, is that the minimum is 6 months? Because that's a long time.
Thomas, you're not on this committee.
And licensing?
This is dealer practice.
Oh, we're still on deal practice. Okay.
So we need somebody else to second.
I'll second.
All right, Chris Mayor seconded. Is there any discussion?
Yes, I wanna know about the 6 months.
Okay.
Because I think that's too long a time.
We normally give a 6 month period, and that's just the default, to give the dealer a chance to schedule the class, work with the association, with open class. And you can make it 3 months, but you have to make sure that when we offer, the timeframe, they have a chance to.
That we do have them available.
We have 6 classes between now and then, and every 3 months there's 6 classes. And there's 3 of them in mid-Labor, which is.
I prefer the 90 days.
Well, it's the, inspection, what's the timeframe on that?
Especially the same thing, 90 days by default, but you can also adjust it for.
Probably need to have them go to class before you have an inspection.
I think what you're saying is 90 days and 90 days, right?
All right. I don't know technically the right way to do this. Because I don't know that the motion was clear to say 90 days for both of those. So we have a motion and a second already on the floor. So
I'd like to send.
Okay.
It's still gotta go to, it's just a recommendation, it's still gotta go to the full.
Sure. So you want to amend your motion? And the amended motion is the same fines, 90 days for class, 90 days for an inspection. All right. Do we need a second for an amended motion?
I'm sorry.
Just trying to make this a long one for Alex.
You're doing a great job.
Don Sullivan, seconded. Is there any discussion?
Councilor Shay. On June 26, 2024, an informal fact-finding conference was conducted to address the alleged violations of Virginia Code Section 46.2-1529, 46.2-1537, and 46.2-1542B. Based on the information provided at the conference, the hearing officer recommended assessing a civil penalty of $4,000 and a satisfactory inspection within 90 days.
Is there anybody here to speak to this case? All right, so the summary here from the book is that we did an inspection after a complaint from customers not receiving a title. There's nobody there really to help, and then once we got into it, there were multiple sales noted with unlicensed sales staff, missing state inspection records, titles not transferred as required by law. There are multiple complaints of that. When they attended the hearing, they were 37 minutes late to the hearing. And if you look at this dealer's record, some of us know this dealership's been in business a long time, but apparently they had a change in majority ownership about a year ago. And if you go online to look at their reviews, it all turns to garbage about a year ago. There's multiple, even more than the complaints that the dealer board has received, people saying they didn't get their tags, they didn't get their title, there's mechanical issues with the car that were undisclosed. I mean, this dealer is really heading the wrong way. So, I mean, that's kind of what we're up against. And this dealership sells, or had historically sold kind of higher end, BMWs and Teslas and things like that. But I don't know what they're selling now. So
Everything went up 250 pickup truck down to.
as it turned into like more of a traditional. Anyway, some of that's not really relevant. The issues are that they're clearly got some things going on. So we got a recommendation for $4,000 in total fines and a follow-up inspection is all that's on here.
We also had multi-dealership contacts for sample, auto buying service and Fairfax Road. I'm highly concerned about this deal. I've known Andy for 30 years, And Andy would never run a dealership like this. And quite frankly, right now, we've got somebody behind the wheel that's throwing this reckless, and they're gonna cause some serious problems to them the rest of the way. And that's my concern. I
So
don't think
Andy, by the way, is the previous owner for the.
Andy and previous in the perfect, ran a really tight ship for years. I'm in Andy ran a very tight ship, and quite frankly, right now, we got somebody, running a ship that's not paying attention. It's gonna come back and bite us in the rear, so I'm not fine to say that right now, and quite frankly, I'm all ears for what we need to do to protect the consuming public right now. This guy who's starting out, he hasn't barely got off the ground, he's already got all these issues here. It comes from an apathetic attitude of, I don't care, I'll do it my way, you're not gonna tell me what to do, and that's a problem.
Well,
Yes, sir.
even from the summer, where they come into the meeting 30-some minutes late to begin with, and then our job is not to penalize, but to assist. I'm sorry, I'm not looking at my job right now, is to assist the dealer. If you're coming here, you got a problem. We're here to assess your problem and decide what's best for the consumer and for other dealers, because when you act like this, you hurt us all. There's nothing, it's so easy to be ethical. It's so easy to be right. It takes more time to think about the underlying nonsense that can be done. This angers me as an independent. It truly angers
Over
me.
the years, I've defended the state.
Exactly.
This is not,
No,
this is an attitude part, which
they don't care.
is a serious problem. But, sorry, this is your committee. So I'm not gonna-
It's all right.
Yeah,
I'm getting all fired up.
I know this dealership also, and I do know Andy, and that's, yeah.
I guess. But it seems like all of these are that way. They're not showing up. Our shippers are supposed to, I guess, say that we're here today. I came on this thinking I was mainly here to assist the consumer, but I guess there's a part where we're assisting the dealer in a sense. But which one comes first? My question, because if we're here to serve in the public interest and then make sure that these dealers are serving the public interest, is clearly when they have hours of
My response to Tom would be this, yes, I think it's our job to not protect the consumer. It's also our job to keep the things on the rail, stay at the end, and make sure we don't have.
They do business together. So I just want to point that out, the fact that they're sharing inventory, doing things, I don't know how that's happening.
Sharon has 10 views.
Right, I'm just saying, that they are relatives. So, that's something to point out. They are related. But, he's a young man, with access to money and in disregard of, what we call a humble boy, that does important to understand how rules and regulations work. So I just want to put it out so you guys understand what you're dealing with. But, I don't know how we can make him get more educated. I think he has the basics to be great. And, but I mean, he definitely needs to be more conscious, of the consumer and education. Yeah. He can definitely do it. Yeah.
I've got a great idea. I vote because with 3 or 4 grand, it's like, here's your money, leave me alone. You know what I mean? I think we greatly have to find on all 3 accounts. Because these are not giving people titles, not inspecting cars, having 10 unlicensed sales. These are egregious things that they've done. So
I guess,
I'm all ears if somebody else wants to talk. I got some ideas for it.
well, I just want to, before you make the recommendation, I do want to go back to, I think Christian always appreciates this, like the unlicensed salesperson's 250 per, which is our normal thing. So to up that, you create a little different precedent. I'm wondering whether we shouldn't be more in terms of looking at his license as opposed to a fine. I mean, so is 4 grand or 8 grand or 10 grand? I mean, is that going to make a difference, or do you look at something given this that he recognizes that the board is serious and threatens to? Now I understand if we say that we're going to pull his license, he can appeal, and that stretches that out, and he can still operate during that time frame. But maybe that combined with upping the fines, I guess I just want to caution from deviating too much, specifically on the unlicensed salesperson one. I think we probably could look at some of the other ones and whatnot. But anyway, just a thought. You're not.
Money, get people's attention. Okay? Money, when you write a check, to get their attention. Hey, they're not paying rent. He's pretty new. I would run in there and suspend his license right now. But I think we do a little check with, hey, here's this. And I've got the numbers. I think on the first charge, I think we charged him $3,000 instead of $750, $1,000 for each violation. And on the second one, I think we have $500, which is $5 grand. And on the third one, I think we have $3,000, putting the grand total of $11,000. I think that's more of a I'm to get your attention kind of money. And then if he wants to complain again.
See, that's the difference. I don't think we should play a game. I think we should come in. We're going to go back to 20-some years ago. Every rep, AMV board rep, that would come into my shop over the last 21 years, I was shaking my boots when they walked in. I wouldn't even know who they were. But as soon as they handed me the card and the handshake and said I was a dealing board, you could see I was shaking in my boots. Because my original dealer board rep, as he was sitting there, he just had a kidney transplant. This man was 6 months out from having just had a kidney transplant. Sick as could be. I don't know how they were able to get it. God bless him. But I remember him saying, I asked him, if I screw this up, what happens? And he had no problem me in the eye and saying, I will take your livelihood. I took that to heart. Livelihood means I will no longer be able to make a living. This is what we are playing with people's lives here. Besides your home, a lot of people will never buy a home in their life. Their biggest investment will be a car. And we need to represent those people. And this dealership, from the day they opened, have not done it correctly. And every complaint, you think it's going to change in 3 years or 3 months or 30 years? No, you stop it now. And then they have a chance that, oh, maybe I need to rethink this. Do I want to get this livelihood? Do I want to sell it back out to somebody else? Or do I want to do it correctly? I mean, I'm sorry, but it's just, I don't need to play games.
By 11 grand, I wasn't playing a game. By 11 grand, I was saying, hey, we're not playing. It's almost like saying, we're watching you closely, and here's the fine for what you've done so far, and if you want to get the check.
But we also know that Fairfax and other police, now I haven't been in contact with Fairfax for years, but even back then, they were a large, not large, but they were up and coming, they were growing. Well, 11,000 really be that big.
For any, well, because it's brand new, we've done very few sales, it's just they off the ground. This
He
is
seems to be able to do okay, because every other person who's not a salesperson is signing for him. He's done enough sales.
Alexis, did you have something?
I was just gonna second on Melissa. I think that in your opening statement about this dealership, you said, hey, I'm gonna open that long and it's already with traffic. I think we, as a board, negligent on our part, not protect the consumer. I think that's the chance for us, and I do agree we should have to find. I do think that's something, but I think there needs to be more than that, because otherwise he's gonna say, well, I'll just pay and get away with it. I think there needs to be something else that's a little bit more serious than money.
So I would be okay with the temporary suspension to get their attention, maybe a 30-day suspension to get their attention, but I also want the money involved.
Oh, definitely.
Chris,
Oh, yeah.
yes, sir. Andy Gerwitz was somebody, when I first got in the business 20 years ago, almost 30 years ago, who took me under his wing, trained me how to do things, took me off. He's a super guy. He's just getting older and retired. It's like me, and he doesn't want to be the business.
His father was part of it.
His father was involved.
I knew his father. So
Yeah, I just
he
got
took me under
pictures of this. Look in the first, page 2. Looks like he started in 1993.
The thing's right. Andy started it in 93. And Andy sold the majority ownership and staying on as an officer until he passes that.
He's only 1%. Saw that for him. I
Well,
was
that's
like, wait,
all things
wasn't it
involved.
1%?
Would you like to make a motion?
I would.
Would you like what I said here?
I did.
Let's see what happens. All right, so I've got his numbers written down. Just to review, so that, Chris recommended for 1529, $3,000 fine, 1530, well, so that's 3 times 100. 1537 is 10 times 500, which would be 5,000 total, and 1542 would be 3 times 1,000 for 3,000, total of 11 grand. So if you want to start with that as the fine, we have a follow-up inspection in 90 days. What else did you want to add to that motion?
I'd like to make a motion that they are temporarily suspended.
30 days.
Well, how do you have, my problem is, I want a satisfactory before they open back up. I think that's
30-day suspension with inspection within 30 days.
Is that possible for
Is
the,
that gonna happen? They say 60 days.
30 days can happen.
I'm okay with 60 days. I'm looking, I'm not trying to make the board rep have it to drop everything and make it,
So you're thinking a 30-day suspension with all the passing inspection in 60 days?
no, can't
I think
open until you get that satisfactory.
Okay, so that's what it is. A satisfactory inspection within 30 days. If he doesn't have satisfactory, he's not going to open up.
Okay, but to give the rep, I mean, for him to be able to have 60 days to get there.
I think Bill Moore.
Just gotta make
We're gonna
this community,
Okay,
the rep gotta
so-
make that.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, then, yeah, 30 day.
Okay, so make sure I got this. So 11,000 so far, I know about that. Suspension for 30 days, but you wanted to be so that the suspension, you cannot open up until inspection. You won't be suspended for a minimum of 30 days?
Yes.
A minimum of 30 days, but he doesn't open up until that satisfactory inspection.
How about the dealer class?
Oh, definitely, I'm sorry, thank you.
And the 2-day dealer class.
Mine will never get on you guys.
Okay, so Melissa's made a motion that we fine the dealer $11,000, that he's suspended for 30 days, can't open until he has another inspection within 30 days, and he has to attend the 2-day dealer operator class within 60 days.
Oh, can we do
That might
30
be
on
tough.
Well,
No,
I
you
think
can
you
do
do
60.
60. I think you do 60. 60. Yeah. 60 is enough for 2 days.
Okay, but he can't open until that's satisfactory.
It should be 90 days. You said there's 6 courses in 90 days. That's what you said. in the brief.
There is 6 courses
In the next 90
days. 3 of those would be in Richmond here, which would be.
I guess
sustainable for him.
he's gonna have 30 days where he's not doing anything.
He could turn around and
I
take
think
a class.
60 is enough. Nick.
Okay.
I think 60 is enough.
Okay, you guys are, we recognize that this is gonna come back here again, because, he's gonna appeal, which is fine, I'm just saying, so. All right, so dealer operated class within 60 days. All right, so that's the motion. Do we have a second? Alexis has made a second. Do we have any discussion? All right, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The motion carries.
Question for you for the record. Okay, so we got $11,000 civil penalty, a minimum suspension of 30 days, but you cannot come back into business until that's not the past the inspection. And then, so that inspection, then would be then, inspection be within 30 days, 45 days, 60 days, how do you want that?
Inspection is within 30 days, because he has to have that done up in 30 days.
Yeah.
He's gonna be busy getting back to what he needs to do, is it, yeah. We've given him a chance, he just needs to get it right. And thank you for your input, Alexis, that was nice.
All right. Whenever you're ready, William, tap 4.
Yes, auto sales and Amon Sammy Abbott. On August 19, 2024, an informal fact-finding conference was conducted to address the alleged violations of Green Code Section 46.2-1533 and 46.2-1575, number 2. Based on information provided at the conference, the hearing officer recommended assessing a civil penalty of $1,000 for failure to maintain established business hours and satisfactory inspection within 90 days.
Is there anybody here to speak to this case? Okay, so the summary here, February random inspection, no one was there. They sent a warning letter. In April, random inspection, nobody there. So we fined him. The board, not administratively, we fined him. We sent him a thing $750, and he paid it. He paid it late. He actually paid it so late he had to pay a reinstatement fee. So he paid $800, and then we come back 3 months later, random inspection, nobody there again. So this is the most that we can fine him. Well, I guess technically it's not, but we could fine him for failing to comply with a written warning again. But it's a $1,000 fine and reinspection is what's recommended. Clearly, this guy, got his license to be a wholesale dealer, and he's just doing his wholesale thing, and not showing up, and apparently not caring so much that he's required to be open. So, what do we got?
This one is funny because this one, I even thought to myself, I understand he wants to be a wholesaler. Then be a wholesaler. That's the thing. It's very easy. He doesn't want to be open for retail,
Well, you can't.
You can't just say,
just being,
you cannot be a wholesaler, you have to be a retailer, Or you
To
can be a
hire
wholesale
somebody.
company, somebody else can sell license.
That's the thing, you have to hire somebody.
Yeah.
If you
And
pay-
it's like, yeah, he's having a hard time, it's obvious.
Do that. Yes.
That's the thing,
As far as
it's,
being
in
business.
all honesty, it's obvious he's having a hard time because he had to pay the reinstatement fee. So this one is kind of a,
Yeah, one retail sale.
I know,
We gotta
that's.
hammer everybody.
When you say.
We don't have to hammer everybody.
I wasn't trying to.
Yeah, that's.
I don't sell it, man. It's not impossible to get
Yeah,
on sale
that's
on
right.
somebody else's license.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's,
You're on payroll.
I mean, they could get a license in another state if they wanted to and register as a foreign dealer. I mean, there's ways to do it. Virginia is always, you know, and that's, I don't want to open up this discussion and talk about wholesale licensing because that's not our, this is dealer practice, it's not licensing, right? But the way the code's written right now, this is what you have to do to be a dealer. You have to be open. And if you want to be a dealer, you have to follow the rules. This guy's not following the rules. I don't know whether it's going to change his mind. Although, again, getting to your statement, like, is he harming the public? I don't know. I mean, you know, he doesn't really sell to the public. So and maybe we just stick with the fine and move on.
Does the board have the right to reduce those hours? Didn't we do that for that guy that did the old,
No, we didn't reduce his
It's a
hours.
whole different deal.
We didn't reduce his hours, but we altered what hours.
Based on the need.
So he was open at night
Guy
instead
working
of
at the
during
high
the
school.
Yeah, at night instead of during the day, but if we,
Yeah.
that's a Pandora's box if we start
I just.
doing that for this, so.
But he was still maintaining 20 hours.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Nick, I don't want to hammer everybody, but I want to give everybody a fair shake.
You
So
do
in
what
this
you
case
want.
here, we know the first time you're not open, it's a warning. It's a written warning, hey, we stopped by, you weren't there, this is your one get out of jail free card. Next time it's $750. That'd be the second offense. This is the third offense. I don't think that for an extra $250, it's really getting anybody's attention. I don't. So, I think we need to get their attention. I do know this individual, and this is another one of those situations that could be where somebody's like, yeah, you know, so Melissa, do you have anything like that?
Well, if nothing else, they should go with class, whatever. To me, anytime that we have a complaint nowadays, that should almost be standard. Because obviously they're not taking or retaining information that they should learn. But I mean, I'm sorry, I didn't realize that to be a wholesaler, you still had to have.
I think you already know.
Yeah.
You already know. Well,
He
that's good.
just doesn't.
He already knows.
I think he's factoring in
That
fine
particular
over
situation.
cost of business.
The fine is cost
I think that's probably what.
I've never seen this guy in my class, but I've seen his mother. Okay, I've never seen him.
So he's got somebody.
Yeah.
He's got that.
No, but I'm saying she could be at the dealership, those hours that he needs to be open, so he does have an.
Yeah. I would be okay, with the additional expense of the class and the time involved for that, and $1,000 fine.
But if the fine's not getting his attention.
Well, but you're saying that you're gonna make him attend the class, which
That's
is
additional.
2 days, he's gotta go, you gotta pay for it, we don't pay for that, I mean, that's essentially giving him a $1,500 fine and requiring him to go spend 2 days in class and learn about
And in all
buyer's
honesty,
orders and bills
maybe,
of sale and stuff like that, that don't really have that much to do with what he's doing, but it's saying, hey, if you keep doing this, we're gonna inconvenience you.
exact, and that's the thing is, I heard someone say, well, he just took the class last year. Well, obviously, it didn't
He didn't take the
retain.
class.
Oh, okay, well,
He did
I
not-
thought I
I've never
heard.
seen this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've seen his mother, but that, she doesn't work there, she's a professional real estate person.
Well, he just licensed last year, so he had it.
This is the second class. Problem zoning, and his license was taken away from zoning, not confined to zoning.
Yeah, because his dealer operator class was back in 2016, when he actually sat for the class. So,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, it's just,
I
you
just
have
think-
a,
Yeah, so in all, what I was gonna say was, even if he had taken the class last year, maybe it's our way to turn around and say, well, if you don't retain it, you'll have to pay for it again. Yeah, to me, that's just, like you say, a part of doing business. Well, if you're not gonna abide by the rules, it's a part of doing business, to retake the class.
All right, so do you want to make a motion?
I think we ought to just bump it up to 2,000.
To get his attention in the class.
Is that a motion, Mr.
So
Sullivan?
do you not think there should be a class?
I
And
don't,
what do you, we can't
He's
fine
never
him,
taken
we
money.
can't fine him $2,000. We can only fine him 1,000 for, that's the most that we're allowed to charge per occurrence. So
we do
the
motion- we do
the
motion.
only thing we could do, we could do 1,000 for the thing and then 1,000 for failing to comply with a written warning. We just gotta be careful how we phrase it. So you can make it 2,000 by doing it that way.
Okay, well, we're at 2 offenses.
So you wanna do $2,000, 1,000 for each and the class or no?
Well, you know, I'll leave that up to other opinions, but I think the money needs to be dispersed.
Don, I wasn't teaching the class in 16, just so you know. So his
Well,
education was
I
way
mean,
different in 16.
Yeah, since he's never been to the class, and he's the one that, maybe he needs to attend the class.
Okay. Let's get a,
I would say a $2,000 fine to the thing.
okay, so are you making a motion
I'm making a motion
for $2,000 fine
to attend.
and the 90-day inspection?
Yep.
Okay, so that's the motion on the floor from Donald Sullivan. Do we have a second? Melissa? Done, seconded. Is there any discussion?
I just have a quick question. When you suspend a dealer's license, the field rep go and pick up his tag? If you're suspending his license and he has his tag, I mean, what does that hurt?
In most instances, the hurt comes when they are not able to access the system. Cell card. Number two, we do have to get the tag.
So I was just kind of referencing the last guy that we're suspending his license. You actually go and pick up his tag.
We take their license. We can do that, if we can find it.
Okay.
Well, the
Good
question.
It'll be the B2 thing.
Yeah, the field rep will hold on to it and get it back to them, that's what it's got. But the other part will be that they'll be access to the system. Yeah.
Jeff, are you requesting an older tax?
Not this one.
Oh.
You do it, okay.
All right, back to this case. Is there any discussion on, yes, auto sales? All right, motion's on the floor. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. And so, any new business from the floor? Hearing none, our next meeting is in November at a date and time to be
No,
determined.
actually, it's been determined, hasn't it? The 18th, right?
No,
Okay, November 8th.
no,
No.
not settled.
Okay, so we're gonna meet again in November.
Alex,
And I'm adjourned.
it's not settled on a date yet, right?
I believe they wanted the 18th.
Right, so it's not settled.
So we'll find out from the board.
All right.
Yeah.
Who's next?
Yeah, wrong. Come on. All right, the licensing committee will come to order. Alex, call the roll, please.
Alex,
Here.
Alexis Paul Catholic, here. Tom Bates,
Here.
Melissa Dunn,
Here.
Dennis Selma, Temple Hanka, Kevin Reynolds,
Here.
Andrew Wiley.
Here. We have one.
Yes.
As far as public comment, anyone who is on the agenda, we give them an opportunity to speak when their agenda item comes up. Which are relevant today. Without objection, the July 2024 committee meeting summary is approved. Public comment. Any old business?
old business from the floor? There are, as far as new business, there are no items on the agenda today. New business from the floor.
We're talking about dealer licensing wholesale. We don't track wholesale because I know some wholesalers.
You can list them when you do your,
Someone had a question, if you're only selling one car, someone had a question. One person, he's selling 60 wholesales and making $1,000 a month. And the question was about ability to pay, disregard one wholesale, you pay for $1,000 bond. Question is, do we have, what can we get the wholesales from somebody to make a good decision? So if someone's wholesaling 3 cars and he's trying to do a good job in retail, or someone just keeping the license just to wholesale and $1,000 means nothing. That's the question.
I don't think the fine should be based on how much you're selling. I think
Well,
that's irrelevant.
to keep your license.
I don't think our
But right now, you might sell any.
you don't have,
You just have to meet the other criteria. Hours.
Look at comments, someone's using the system. That's what I'm trying to say. We're here to protect the consumer. If they're using the system to protect themselves, that's my question. They're using the system. That's what we're here for. And we're also here, I think, to educate a new dealer. So if they just don't know, if they have good intention and don't know, we're here to educate. If they know and they're doing disregard, that's what I'm asking.
so Mr. Bates, you're saying that you do tag removals and account for sales for your tag.
Sure.
Is there a way you get that number, William?
Yeah, it's provided by the dealer. We have no idea what they, until they get.
Do we have access to it?
When they get it to us, we have no idea.
Well, we've never seen that.
Right,
wholesale
Yes,
sales
we
on-
do. It's part of the requirement. If you only have one retail sale and you got 4 dealer places, you gotta show me that you sold enough vehicles to support those.
But do you show that to us during this process? That's what you're saying.
I mean, it's part of the press, but by the fact that you have more than one, or there's 4 places or more, he's showing us that he has met the requirement to own the place. We get a list of them to show us the wholesale, and then the information, and we can validate it. We can verify it.
0 to 26 is one tag. 0 to 25 is one tag. 26 to 49 is 2 tags. 50 and above is 4 per licensed salesperson.
I don't have all those numbers in my head. I could do so, but I don't say this. I don't say this. The system that we use, the information that comes back is what you're talking about.
So Mr. Bates, to answer your question, that dealer can have 4 tags at the site.
So this other fellow, how many do you have?
You say how much dealer tax.
When you say this other fellow,
The one we
we're gonna
talked
be
about.
back up here.
They had one retail set.
Let me just do this.
Yeah, the last tab 4.
I wasn't on that, I wasn't on that.
Tab 4, number of salespersons, 1. Number of retail sales, 1. 0 consumer complaints, 2 tags. 2 dealer tags. Yes, why would you have 2 dealer tags? 244. You did, yeah, 244. So with one salesperson, with 1 sale or 0 sales, you can have 2 tags or licensed salesperson. He's a licensed salesperson. So we have no track record on how many sold.
And William said they get the information once he turns it in.
Correct.
So can we see it? Is my question.
I think he tells us.
It's available, I'm sure.
Well, you can track it.
Yeah, as far as the
They
traffic.
did it, 30 every month, we'll see the last 2 months, I have an idea.
We collect that at the renewal period, so we don't collect on the month.
I've had to do that several times.
When they call me.
I will manage this with the VIAPI. When I was a dealer, I did tons of wholesales. So to answer your question, Mr. Bates, when the motor vehicle dealer board does an inspection on the dealership, I'm required as a dealer, whether I'm wholesale or retail, to keep all my retail sales and wholesale sales available for the motor vehicle dealer board to inspect when they come. And whether it's a wholesale or retail, it's treated as a sale. I have to have all those records, auction records, where I sold the copies of titles, everything has to be in those files. So when the motor vehicle dealer board comes and does an inspection, all those records are being checked by the motor vehicle dealer board.
Okay, so I would say if someone has, if they're here because they're in a non-compliance, not for the dealers that are in compliance and trying to do the right thing and do it wholesale and do everything right. But someone who is not, I would like to have us see how many wholesales they're doing, so we can find out if they're disregarding us or if they have a problem and actually disregard us.
Or we could be more has access to those files when they go in and do, report.
Just so you know, William says he can add wholesale sales to the first sheet.
Perfect.
It shows retail and wholesale, so we're gonna get.
We will have.
We're gonna get.
That's it, the dealer.
Right.
Number one, only if the dealer.
And it's due from the last
And last year.
renewal period.
Well, he said only if the dealer provides, he said when they do an inspection.
But we don't expect that until September.
No, I know, I
When
know.
they turn in the paperwork, the renewal, if that sheet of paper is part of the wholesale, I know that's.
What I'm trying to discern is if someone's on this sheet because of a problem, that is who we should be more critically inspecting. So not for, let's say, Jeff does 5 sales and 115 wholesale. If he's playing ball and doing everything right, leave him alone. But someone who's having a problem, let's get further inspection.
But what we're gonna see on this, right here,
Right.
that first page, that's in the dealer board showing what the information sheet. Okay, it's gonna show wholesale sales based on their last tag.
I'm trying to make clear that several of you in here are used car dealers independent and do a lot of wholesaling. I don't want to infringe upon what you have. I want, if someone's in disregard or in non-compliance, for us to check on them. I don't want to burden someone who's doing things right.
It's an automatic, when you renew your tags, you have to tell them how many retail and how many wholesale.
You don't have to tell
You
them.
don't tell them, you have to give them the sheet with the
Yeah, the sheet.
information.
I don't think you have to tell them. No, I think that's an
Well,
option.
You have to prove it, you have to
Yes, you
prove it.
do.
No, but what I'm hearing Mr. Bates say is that a person comes to the board, who will do this dealer summary sheet, that person that has wholesale, he don't put wholesale on the sheet.
Not someone who's in non-compliance.
Okay.
Oh, no, I
Somebody
just.
who's in compliance. Let's say it's now gonna be for us.
People that are not following the rules. Not to you guys.
I think it's a great thing for us.
Do we have any other new business on the floor? Hey, but at least we're not suspending anybody's license or
I think it's the
taking
chairman.
their liability.
I think it's the chairman.
All right, so our next meeting is it November the 18th? I don't know. To be determined.
It's not the 11th. Because it's a holiday.
So,
No, I do, but it's still not the 12th. No, the commissioner has. Right.
It won't be quick.
He didn't do that to you.
No, it won't be quick. I'd like to call the advertising committee to order. And could you please call the roll?
Crystal Baker, John Sullivan,
Here.
Jeff Ballard,
Here.
Tom Bates,
Here.
Jim Selma, Lindsay, Chris Mayer,
Here.
Kevin Reynolds.
Here.
Nick Rush.
We have a quorum. This is a public comment period. Public comments are limited to those topics that are listed on the agenda. Is there anyone here for public comment? A motion to approve our July 8th, 2024 meeting summary.
Motion.
Okay. Okay, so we have old business to address. I'd like to ask Ann Neighbors and William Childress to address the Tesla advertisement update.
morning. I'm just gonna give you a short timeline of what we've done, and there is, yeah. So, when we were last here, what we've done is, we did end up doing on May 20th, 2024, advertising morning to Tesla. We received an email on 6/24/24 from a Catherine show indicating receipt of the May 20th morning, and wanted to schedule a time to discuss the letter. On 7/11, July 11th, we emailed Ms. Cho stating a contact number wasn't in her email to call her, and requested a number, and we would call her, you know, as soon as we got that. So on July 15th, we received an email from Catherine Cho stating Tesla is drafting a written response. So then on July we had a meeting with Tesla in our office. And we came to, I guess, an agreement that we would revisit the actual letter that we sent them, because we had given them a violation letter before we even or discussed the July, when they called back and said, oh, no, we want to discuss. So we had sent a violation letter without having that discussion prior. And that's a standard operation for us. And that's kind of where we are right now. What we did, Mr. Childress sent an email. Print it out.
Let me help you out with it. Last board meeting, committee meeting, one of the issues that was discussed is the fact that, we sent a letter to council May 20th. And I think the last meeting, we had a lot of discussion on the fact that we had not received a response from that. And then she said in a different way, when in fact, we had received a response. They had no time, but they had to keep the letter and we have a meeting with them. So we did not acknowledge that in terms of bringing it to my attention or to legal attention at the time of the meeting. During the board meeting, the board's direction to staff was to go back and civil penalty based on the fact that they had not responded and they were still in violation of the advertising as far as the committee is concerned. Now, my thing is, had we acknowledged and received their response to our May 20th letter, then we would have discussions with them like we normally do. And when we met them on July 23rd, they came in not to discuss, they came in to show what they had done to be in compliance. They came in with the, I guess, the fixes in place to see if that met the requirement. We sat down and talked and we looked at it, and as far as we could tell, the change they had made did meet the requirement. Things they made showing that you, I guess, have this button you can push, you left it on. It shows the price if you want to include the incentive or the incentive from the tax credit. And you took it off, then it showed you the true price was not counting anything. So the two prices were there, and the consumers would know based off what how they want to look at it. So they had the requirement in terms of what they along state. So the civil penalties that I had imposed by direction of the board on the 11th of July that went out to them, I rescinded that because they had in fact reached out to us and through our negligence that they that this wasn't resolved soon. But the last board meeting, we should be able to tell you guys that hey, yes, they responded and we'll meet them 21st of July. And because we didn't do our part in terms of the information, our attention that we came in this meeting thinking that they had not responded to us, or failed to respond. For new board members and for some of you who speak in front of the board, one of the things we try to do with people is when we have website or advertising violations, which you'll learn about a little later, we, especially those that are out there on the internet, we try to give the dealership or the entity an opportunity to get well. We'll look at it, we'll talk to them, tell them what the problems are, and give them a time frame to come into compliance. Then after the time frame passes and things have not been done correctly, then we will go ahead and get this one, we can find them and find them per day. That's all for situation. But I said earlier, they came to me, they came in, they fixed it already.
So it's been resolved.
That's all.
So, first of all, I think it's the right idea, to try to give time to get going. I think that's honestly what we want to. They're doing something wrong, they don't know a lot of times. People can't know all these rules. Except for this guy, 400 years. So, but did the board see some of this stuff or just interior? When Tesla got back, who in here saw that? Nobody. Okay. Well, if it was a board issue, should the board see it?
I think, I understand where you're coming from, but for the most part, a lot of things that come from, and how the years been done with the staff level, that comes to board. And this is part of the report. It
So
took place
it comes to our
internally,
attention.
and I'm bringing to attention now what the outcome is. Yeah, so
Well, Tim is the one that brought this up. He's not here to
I think
elaborate on this, but
Tim's main point, I think, or at least part of his point was, if one of us we get fined automatically, we don't get a second chance, do we now in fact get a second chance?
well, I'm
Or
gonna say
does it have to be vetted by staff?
I can tell you that William and his staff do a great job on dealing directly with the dealer and give them time to get well.
No doubt, I'm just asking a question.
Tim, in this case, was asking Tesla and all of these manufacturers that are looking like, Rivian, trying to get franchises without having dealers. It's a horse of a different color. So, he brought it up because we're not seeing any of that internally. And I think I know it is different for me because any of our franchise dealers, we all stand to be victims of these tech companies coming in and bypassing the Virginia franchise laws, which was a big to-do years ago with VABA, whatever. And so I, for one, am very cautious. Tim is very cautious. You express your caution. So I think it's important for us to get a little more clarity on these people versus just anyone. The process on normal franchise dealers that have gone through the process is brilliant. I think they do a great job. But on these people that are manufacturers that all of a sudden, for whatever reason, have their own points without franchise dealers, that's something we need to be careful of because Rivian's doing it, it could be Amazon doing it with, there could be 50 of these people. Hard to know.
So is this, and you had a question?
Just, a couple of observations. Ann Hammerdoller from the Virginia Auto Dealers Association. Just, Tesla was cited for this exact violation in the past. And so that's part of our concern is that, how long we start the clock over. And I'm actually on their website right now, and they have a car with a price that has a disclosure that says after the tax credit and an estimated gas savings. But the price they're showing has those two things drawn out of it. My only observation is that there's nothing to stop then under this interpretation, any dealer from making some off the wall gas comparison savings from a
We can't.
SUV
It's
to a smaller, more fuel efficient car and claiming that that's somehow a saving.
Right.
That's not, I think that that's just a dangerous precedent to set to allow that kind of advertising to go on.
And
again, this
that
is-
was my question, and I think Tim's point was, if it were him,
if you're advertising an EV, if a franchise dealer is advertising an EV with a big bold price and a little asterisk that says, oh, you're gonna save this much in gas over 5 years.
No,
So
we would
subtract
be,
it from the price, that's a problem. And it's, I mean, again, going to their website right now, and they were cited for this several years ago because the issue is that they were defaulting to showing it versus defaulting to showing the price and then listing what you could possibly save. They're doing just the opposite. They're listing the price with the savings and then showing the savings, expecting you to add it back. Our understanding from the board has always been there's nothing wrong with showing those savings that may be available, but you got to show the price first. And then the customer can decide whether they're taking all these on. You don't start with the subtracted price. You start with the price and then show a customer what they might be able to get, be it incentives, be it safe, potential tax credits, be it whatever. But you start with the price and then you show them that.
they're being held to a completely different standard. Any of the franchise dealers, we would be in violation, and we would be right to be in violation. They are in violation, and they haven't been.
Well, and from the association's perspective, we just want clarity because we have to be able to tell our dealers what is permitted by the advertising laws, the regulations, and the enforcement positions of the board.
Well, that's my whole point. That's why.
Help me out as a new person here. What is the double standard? If they advertised improperly and they're not being held accountable, like a franchise dealer would normally be? Is that
The double standard is that in Virginia, the clarity of the price has to be clear to every customer. So if we can't say that our Chevy electric, super electric, Toyota electric, whatever, so you're asking a question, I mean,
I understand. I understand what you're saying, but I guess my.
there's many other things that we could say, if you get this, if you get that, military rebate, this rebate, that. There's all sorts of things we could say, like they're saying, that would also be out of compliance. And so it's unfair to us to have to disclose a price that everyone can get. Who's gonna say, so when they use this, who's gonna say how you drive a Tesla and how he drives a Tesla, how much mileage you really get?
I understand. My question, follow-up to that is, this is and it sounds like what you're saying this is not the first time that this has happened.
It is not.
What would we normally do to a franchise dealer in this instance? This is the second offense of this type.
Well, first of all, I'm going to record saying that I disagree with you, Mr.
Well, it's actually undeveloped.
Well, you spoke though. You made a sense, but I'm just saying, because in their advertisement, there's a toggle there. That you touch it, you go to what the price is. Now, what Andy's saying is that you should be defaulted. Okay, that's what you think you should be. The law doesn't say that, but I understand what you're saying. So the price, the toggle is there. If you hit it, take the thing, take off the incentives and the gas station. That's the price.
It does, just as clarity, it does not take off the gas savings.
Right.
Is there an asterisk at the price?
Which is the point.
Is there an asterisk at the price that they're,
No, it's not. I don't remember.
for somebody to do that?
But the process, to answer the question, is that we normally, on advertising, $8, the second time around, first time it may be just a preview or warning discussion, repeating the same thing, use some type of solution. And implement for it.
What did we do the last time that we went through this?
Tesla in the past has paid, I want to say, a couple civil penalties for advertising. I think she implemented at least 2 times.
Was this last time a warning?
The last time,
Was this a warning or were they cited with the fine?
let me go back to the last time because I want to make sure.
The one we're talking about in July.
I got you. I want to make sure y'all understand what's going on. There's a whole lot more people think going on. The letter that went out on May 20th went out as a warning. Okay. Went out as a warning. And when we came to the last board meeting, we told you a letter did not go out, because we were told. Evidently, a letter went out, and Ms. Majors didn't remember it, so we said the letter did not go out. We can end it, we went to the office, found the letter did go out, but it went out as a warning. And in doing so, that letter of warning was not what was recommended at the time we sent it out. Technician was working it, didn't follow all the processes, and just failed to do the two things. And civil penalty, and didn't fail to do one thing, to get welfare. Did not specify the time period in which this had to be collected. Okay, so now, next meeting, we'll explain that to you. Okay, it's a little sloppy, but now, we met them on July 23rd. It was the staff's opinion, for what we saw, that they met the intent of the law, which says that you must show the price clearly. Now, it didn't default to that at the time, but it was there with the toggle to show you the price of the car. And my understanding was that that did not include the gas station. Gabriella said it's different. Okay, I'm not going to speak at all to that. But we told them that the price did not include incentives for gas or projected tax savings, because the tax savings are not guaranteed for everybody, and it varies. As we, what do we call, take that vehicle off the line.
So, Ann, are you saying that that tax haven is still being listed?
She's on gas savings.
I'm saying I'm looking at the homepage of Tesla.com right now, and it lists the Model X for $65,990. Underneath that, it says in smaller type, after federal tax credit and estimated gas savings. So they're still showing the before price. Here's the real issue with this.
Can you
Well,
click on
and it-
something and get something different?
It's a double standard.
No, I'd have to do the math myself. I'd have to get out my calculator and
Yeah,
do the math on that. But I guess and I'll just leave it at, I have just one more point to make real quickly, William. One, I know that this issue was brought to the attention of the dealer board many years ago during the whole Tesla hearing, so it's not the first time. The other real problem is that they claim the gas savings as if it's something you could take off the price of the car. And it's not. It's not as if you got to qualify for a rebate or those sort of things. The only thing that it is an estimation of what you might save over 5 years of ownership of a car. That may be important information for a consumer, but it shouldn't impact the price at all, because there's no way to ever get that money off the price of that vehicle for anyone under any circumstances. And that's where we find that particularly problematic, and that's all we can say on
Or a
that.
franchise dealer could do the same, and it doesn't tell the consumer who we're here to protect the real price. They are in violation of the law of the real price.
I just looked at the advertisement, and they have a box there with you check on for each line. Check those items or whatever, it shows the price with or without.
Well, I'm just saying on the homepage, not even went in that, I don't have to click on the model, I'm saying on the homepage.
Right.
And so again, our understanding was always that you started with the price and then you showed the reductions. This is just the opposite, and we just want to make sure we know what we can tell our viewers.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So this is odd, obviously. I think Tom mentioned it. They're the manufacturer and also in Virginia, the dealer will always safely out there. So could GM have a similar homepage? Because it's against the law or in all 50 states?
It's misleading.
No.
Which is
So
against the law.
the manufacturer has the same advertising requirements in Virginia as the dealer.
No, that's not true.
There.
The manufacturer has a little more, manufacturer has a little more great.
You said you were on the homepage, opening day. He said he went over to look at other.
Facebook, Facebook Marketplace, like we did on Craigslist. And that kind of whole nother discussion started as far as the board's concerned. And my response at the time was pretty much the fact that we just got permission to be on Facebook and Facebook Marketplace. The board's got to get that permission. But then the question came again, you know, what's so hard about it? You go to your telephone or your computer, you go to the website and you're there. Well, it's more, a lot more to it than that. And that's why I'm Tyler explaining it to you. Tyler Huffman is a new employee. He's a contractor with the board right now. He's an IT resource. So first of all, first meeting, and he's going through a lot of stresses getting the streaming portion set up. The Tyler's going to explain to you what the challenge is. And the challenge, when he explains it, very clear things about before you guys in terms of what we have to deal with as a state agency trying to go out and do things for we're not acceptable.
So some social media sites have authentication gates. These authentication gates require you to register. That registration requires an email. You have to send out a QR. So that authentication will prevent some of our agents from doing reconnaissance like on Craigslist, where Craigslist doesn't have any of these authentication mechanisms for registration. You can log on to Craigslist and just as an anonymous person browse these postings and see and do simple reconnaissance. A platform like Facebook, you have to register, you have to authenticate. Facebook has its own mechanisms for verifying who you are. So it poses more of a challenge in terms of performing reconnaissance on that type of social media platform.
So it's like breaking into Apple.
A little bit less complicated, yeah.
So with that said, we've had many meetings in the last 2 months with state police, even other people trying
protected, because in these sites where you have to register, and some sites like Facebook Marketplace with invitation, once they find out they're really billboard, they're gonna need someplace else to stop them from doing. And we still have meetings with the state police to learn their process. But it also applies for Instagram, Facebook Marketplace, other platforms where you have to register to be a member. Craigslist is no problem. We do Craigslist all the time, but there's not much happening with Craigslist. So Craigslist, cars have been advertised there, but for the most part, we're not finding any violations there. We know that they're in Facebook and Facebook Marketplace and other sites like that. We're working on that. It's a long process. Now, one of the options we do have down the road is that we can get equipment that's not on the COV network. And with that way, that's going to be a cost. That's going to be a expense. We don't have those numbers yet, but we're working on that. And we're trying to get as quick as possible to get it right. So, we're not on the extent of it yet, because we're not there, but you know.
The only thing about the cost that you're talking about as far as what position trying to get yourself into.
Well, we don't have any costs yet, because we know state police have to do this, because they're doing everything for these, predators. Okay, so they're out there anonymously somehow, and we're thinking we can do the same thing, but maybe not to the extent that they're doing. Maybe not as complicated. We just want to be able to go into the room, to chat room, whatever, and how, so that our IP address or our MVDB.gov does not show up, that people know. But when they see that, they're gone. They're going to be gone, or we're going to be refused to that particular area.
Sure. Well, the state police obviously are coming up.
But from what we understand, though, what they're doing is not on the state system, and that's what we got to find out. We didn't know that until we met them last month. And being off the state system means funding additional money to pay for the equipment that they're using to do that work.
Well, they're in the position of helping DMV, you know, keep order and make the law correct. You know, so we take that to the state police and say, hey, that's help us fix.
Well, no, we have a meeting date set with them. We've reached out to them and asked them to talk to us, and they'll have it appointed. And
Well, we won't have to do it, they'll do it.
well, nah, we have to do it.
Well, yeah. Yes, sir.
Summer PTC Enterprise. PTC Enterprise, we're one of the continuing education support providers for franchisees. Quick question. Third party solutions, are they possible or are they?
With nothing's told by that possible. Absolutely. We have to do it. We have to do this.
Any other discussion?
I'll take it a step further. Just for fun, I joined the Facebook group last week. You know, cars for sale, no title. If you read into it, it's like cars with liens, okay? Cars that have been traded in the dealership with liens. And I'm surprised, these are all feds that are like posting like they're somebody. So there are people out there selling cars all day long that have liens on titles on Facebook, $20,000 cars for $3,000 to sell the car. So I'm sure, hopefully, the state police are looking into this, and as a lien holder, I care about this stuff, and so should most of the banks and those folks. But this is something that's happening right in front of our faces. We all know it's a felony to sell a car without a lien on it, and they're doing it right in public. Maybe they're using different names and those kind of things. The only thing I was asking about with the Facebook is everybody in the room understands that people are selling cars on Facebook and not disclosing actually who they are and or their curbside. They're literally curbside. They're probably doing it under the license of another dealer somewhere, and they're renting the tag. The same site. You don't need a title to sell a car. They're advertising there. Want to go to the dealer auctions? Want temp tags in Indiana? And that's all this the other day. Like they're just offering these things to anybody who will pay the fee of the monthly fee. Anyway, I just wanted us to look into it a little bit.
Actually, you probably need to start budgeting for it because it's going to be an evolving thing forever. It's not going to go we solve this problem tomorrow, the next problem will be a week from now, because the criminal element's always gonna be trying to say, hey, we
20
just
plus,
need a budget for
yeah,
it.
20 plus years ago, I actually went out on, we'll call it an admission with a DMV law enforcement agent, and we literally beat the streets, drove down Route 1, pulled over with thousands of cars and so in the front yard. And almost everyone we went to produced a title was open, you know, an open title to us. And he was taking them. I think they found more than they wanted, and they ended up in court all the time over this stuff. And they didn't want that. So we haven't done it in 20 plus years, but this is happening all over the place. You know, I'm not sure, so I can't call him. Mr. Sullivan.
Yeah, he's got a question.
John?
Thank you, Mr. Sullivan. Mr. Mayor is right, but just the tip of the iceberg. Recently, my company helps dealerships like you get listing on a lot of social media platforms, including Instagram, Facebook, Craigslist, you name it. It isn't the fraudulent title, it's the cat that's advertising themselves as a dealership, who's not a dealership, who's taking deposits, selling cars, and then leaving the consumer high and dry. It's a bigger iceberg than just the part you're witnessing right now. We'd be glad to help. We feel like we'd be able to help with your mystery shopping. We enjoy that kind of work. We do that. We present at several dealer 20 groups, and that's part of our mission when preparing for this meeting is to mystery shop everybody there. When I get to that meeting, I can tell you what you're doing wrong, what you're doing right, what you're doing illegal. It's not that hard. You just need the access, and you need the anonymity. I understand the board's got theirs. The staff has their hands tied in what they can or cannot do. A company like us doesn't have our side detail.
This is a loss of revenue to the state of Virginia, and it's also consumer protection. But you have to put enough light on that where somebody, a legislator, someone looks at it and says, hey, this is an issue I'm willing to take to the mat, and we need to get some money behind it. And I don't think it's a deal.
If they wanted to do this legally, which apparently they don't, they could say, assume the loan and pay some cash for a car. And I would like maybe you to find out from this gentleman what his fees are and what he could do for us and do some of the legwork. It might be a good thing for us to look at.
So this is a question you're asking.
I'm asking you to,
Yes, you want to speak on that, John?
can you send us, email us information so we can,
Be happy to meet with the board. I have a good relationship with the board staff. Scope is part of that. You know, it's like anything else. You want to buy a car, that's fine. You want a full tire to go with it, that might be a little more, and a warranty. Scope is good to know. But it's going to be much more cost effective than trying to find your own internet, your own devices, and your own staff.
send us the pricing, give us an example on his example, that'd be good, we can go through a few of examples and whatever you come up with.
I think we could probably, if anybody's interested, they can speak with John during the break. Take the information to whoever's interested.
That's good.
Okay. All right. Okay, so, do we have any other old business from the floor? Oh, yes. Okay, we do the update thing.
Yeah.
You were gonna do that, huh?
I got you.
Okay.
Okay, so this is in line with everything we've discussed for the last two board meetings. So this ties into some things we've already talked about.
Well, this is new business. I was talking about.
Okay,
old-
go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No other old business on the floor, right? Okay, we'll move on to new business. Mr. Childers.
Thank you.
Hey, don't.
And let the record show, Mr. Sullivan's in charge of the committee, it's also long meetings as well.
No, Andrew has.
There's something about that side of the table over there.
Sullivan, I apologize. Appreciate it, thank you. This keeps in line with the discussion we've been having, I guess, last few meetings and earlier conversations. One of the things that we always try to do and been challenged with, but we want to make it so get back on the advertising, get a lot more than we've been doing. And that may cause issues in other places. I think right now, for sure, but
mayor can make the theory is that after the last meeting, we went back and looked at advertising across various different platforms. We looked at Craigslist, we looked at the regular internet, we looked at the other websites, we looked at Car Guru, we looked at a lot of different things. And whether you are aware of it or not, and I'm not pointing fingers, but it's not meant to point fingers, it's just a awareness issue, is that most people who are advertising that we saw, that we looked at, were in violation of something. And violations weren't anything major, but things like processing fees, trigger terms, where including some of the ads where you have trigger terms that provide some additional information. The phone number associated in the ad might not be so a number that the board had on file. All I'm saying here is that we're going to put out a simple email to all licensed dealerships in the state. And we're going to remind them of what the advertisement is. In that advertisement, that's going to be a get well period that we have not put in the letter yet, because we have more input on the get well period. Should it be 30 days, should it be 60 days, should it be 90 days? That's what you guys. We're going to send it out probably this week. And this is the beginning of the notification and reminder of people what Virginia's advertising rules are all. We told them in the email, in the letter, we sent us to communicate what code sections we're talking about, and we will cite the more common things that we have known in the advertising segment. Chance to get it to the well. Now, I understand some of the people that you may be contracting with, may get your ad, you may customize it a little bit. They may change a few things, but you need to be aware of that because there are certain things that should be there. And for the most part, when communication goes out, and let's say the get well period is 90 days, and we then find something that's in violation, you can go process of the warning. Whoever you are, there's a letter to you that on this day, this advertisement, we noticed this was missing. And from there, we started. Okay. So, people towards past practicing, everybody knows, get well period, a warning, and so forth.
I think 30 days. Oh,
Go ahead.
I feel like 30 days is plenty of time if you're falsely advertising. Well, plenty of time to fix your issue. I don't think 60 and 90 days is. I mean, they just keep on doing what they're doing, and then they're going to get a warning after that. I think it's important that they get it straight immediately. Within 30 days is time enough once you get a letter or you're contacted about what you're doing. I think that's more than enough time. Any other opinion?
Yeah. Sometimes getting through the manufacturer, getting a site change approved through them, and getting the actual site people to get it fixed and changed. I believe he's right. 30 days is probably a little difficult. So I think at least 60. I agree with you. At least 60. It's not. Your intention is right. It's just the mechanics of it. Some of these people just don't move that quickly. So it would be overburdening.
Just my opinion. You think about it. How much money is it costing other dealers if one dealer is advertising incorrectly, drawing people and taking business from you over a period of time? That's what I think about when I think about that. And you know, it's enough money involved that maybe we need to take that money and invest it in saying, look, we don't have 60 days. We got 30 days to get our advertising corrected. If you can't do it, then I'll find somebody else that can get it corrected. But you know, just to drag it on, I mean, that's just my opinion. I mean, I'm interested in
For an independent, that's probably right. If you want to do that for independents and for franchise, they don't have the same grace as you do because you're not restricted by franchise rules. And
what is franchise rules?
Because you have to meet their compliance before you even have to meet federal compliance.
Well, you've already done that, probably.
You don't have a franchise.
I know, but you have already done that.
No,
You've already met your franchise.
No, you're not quite that. If there's a flaw in the advertisement and the franchises change their rebates and their incentives, how often does that happen? All the time? Okay, So for us to be able to react that quickly, not us, any franchise dealer, it's too heavy a burden, I think. And so I agree with William, 30 days, it's just not technically possible in some cases. It
I
could
think
be,
that's a different scenario. I think that's different. With manufacturers, changing rebates, that type of thing. Automatically you do that. I mean,
nothing's automatic.
sure.
And then you have to go through their internet team and their system, and then you have to get with your own, and then you have to integrate everything together.
But I think that the standard of the rules for advertising through the dealer board for everybody are the same.
Yeah.
Aren't they?
I think that he's saying if there's an error or someone is not doing it according to the rules, then they should have the right amount of time to go back, re-get it done through the manufacturer, re-get it done through.
So everybody in the country is gonna have the wrong
There's nothing
information
new-
because
there's
what the
nothing new about
manufacturers do.
If you try to impose a 30-day limit on this, you would be handicapping every franchise dealer. It's unfair. It's impossible to do sometimes. It's not practical. I understand the intention is good. So I have to agree with William completely. I don't have to.
Well, I just feel like we were talking about advertising.
False advertising.
Yeah, but
False advertising,
Well,
that's what we were
keep in
talking
mind though, keep in mind the big picture there. What we're doing is, we're gonna sit down and communicate, let people know what the requirements are. And hopefully that time period, grace period, that you'll go back and get your advertisements and get them reported.
Right.
Then after this grace period, then we're gonna start sending out notifications that you're in violation of.
So rebates and stuff like that is are they false advertising?
No, that's just part of the.
That's what I'm saying, it's not. So where does that affect?
I can tell you, if they change, Tom said sometimes daily, we know sometimes daily, weekly, it could change 10 times a month. If we are putting the wrong rebate and it's false advertising, we have to change our site all the time as it is. So trying to get one specific thing and catch up and go through all these systems, it's just impossible to do in 30 days.
But rebates are rebates. I hear
We don't
what
have
you're saying,
rebates in
but
independent.
I know, for you, for new car
This
franchise.
is, it's in this forum for franchise and independent.
What we're talking about, falsely, but the standard and rules set by the dealer board about advertising is, it seems to me is a little different than, we know you gotta change all the time because you have rebate changes, this, that, and the other to your website. Well, I mean, you should be able to do that pretty quick,
Well, that's easy.
And if you're in violation of or you're not giving the proper information about the rebates, which that's kind of hard to do.
Take a second on that.
It's not just, it's APRs, it's, all that.
That all falls into what this is.
It's a matter of time. It's impossible to do.
Okay. I see it differently. I just have an opinion. I respect everybody else's.
Sure.
But, I don't think that. But I'll say that I'd settle with 60 days. But I mean, I still don't agree.
I hear your point. I hear you. What your intention is good, but I
I
think.
just don't think one has anything to do with the other.
Good
That's
enough?
what I say.
Okay.
Because when it comes to interest rates, we have to comply the same way you have to comply, right? Or well, we don't.
I don't think so.
Yes, it has to be accurate
Well,
information.
that's true, but you don't have to comply the same way we do.
Oh,
No,
we do.
I mean, you
We
just gotta
do.
comply with multiple people.
There's the law set by the motor vehicle dealer board, and we have to go by just like you.
Compliance for this board, everybody gets the same compliance. You just have.
The question on the table is, can we go to 60 days? You agree?
I agree. I just wanted to make a point. I didn't think it'd take that long, because I think people falsely advertise. It costs other people money,
You mean
other
like
dealers
Tesla?
money, while he's falsely advertising for 60 or 90 days. So he gets to keep doing it.
So basically then, by the November board, then the grace period should just expired. And at that point, we shall have letters going out for those who sign up. So it goes back to 60 days. We'll put that in the communicator, goes out. But I guess, possibly that's a motion to make sure.
Mr. Chairman,
There's a, yes, Ann?
Just one quick observation. First of all, the board undertaking this educational, process is something they do very well. They've always been good about, not playing gotcha with dealers. That's not their role. They want to make sure that the advertisements are correct. And quite frankly, all of these things are in effect now. They're just highlighting and then going to enforce. So, I understand what Mr. Bates is saying. I would say that they're not necessarily trying to play gotcha on the incentive that may have expired yesterday. So I do think the board has always been pretty savvy in the way that it's enforced those advertising rules. And this is just another way to sort of highlight issues so that everybody can, I call them the 25-hour a day, 8-day-a-week things. We would all be doing them if we had 25 hours in the day, 8 days a week. We'd be going through each of these little steps every day. So, again, the board has always been very good about.
Well, I think to sum it all up, they've already said, they're just sending the letters out, giving you an
They could be doing that
opportunity to
now.
get right. And then after that, it's the same thing we're doing now.
Yeah, it's just like in sports and football analogy, we're placing emphasis on it.
Sure.
We've always been to do it, but we want to emphasize it.
Even more so.
Start over, give everybody a fresh start and go from there.
Okay.
And Don, I agree, 30 days probably easily fixable. It's just sometimes.
We got it. So,
I mean,
if it's 60 days, it takes you to do it, but my whole idea was that I don't like seeing people do stuff that's unfair. It's costing other dealers money while they continue to be able to do it, and they're gonna get a slap on the hand in 60 days. And that'll be their first one.
It's a great point.
That's my whole intention.
Point, I see quite a few new car dealers paying fines.
Yeah, we don't ever see them.
No, we just gotta read stuff.
Well, you read it, in the dealer's law. But, I mean, it's a whole lot easier to pay a $1,500, $2,000 fine as a new car dealer and continue doing what you're doing to the next $1,500.
Well, sounds like William's typing it up, right, William?
I can tell you also, and any other franchise dealer, if we see somebody who's breaking the rules, we will call the board and say, hey, this is baloney. So we'll audit each other because we don't want someone else cheating. We're all at 10,000. This guy's saying he can do a 3,900 line. So believe me, we're quick to jump on this.
That's where most of our leads come from.
You can believe it.
William, do you have some other new business?
Not this meeting.
Grab the reins, William, grab the reins.
Okay. All right, so is there any other new business? Okay. There's no new business. Our next meeting is to be determined.
Yeah.
In November. This meeting is adjourned. Hey,
Just throw it.
not long
The
ago.
Patriots one, I can get it. Just give me a little lead time.
Was that a heck of a?
Can you believe that?
Thank goodness, Cleveland gave up the ball.
So,
Okay, the transaction recovery committee, is now coming to order. And now, so we have a roll.
Mayor,
Here.
Tom Bates,
Here.
Tom Barton.
Here.
Jeff Ballard.
Here.
Bruce Dunn. Here. Chip Lindsey. Nick Rush.
Here.
John Sullivan.
here.
Andrew Wallet.
Here.
Okay, all that were on the agenda will be given an opportunity to speak when their agenda items come up. Are there any public comments? Public comments are limited to topics that are on the agenda. We have a approval of the last committee meeting.
Make a motion to approve.
Passed. Any old business? There's none. Is there any old business? William gave me this so that I could press through and off of that. All business from the floor. New business. New business from the floor. Next meetings to be determined in November.
Okay, so we're gonna break for 15 minutes. We'll see everybody back for the quarter. All right. Who's the vice chair? We'll see you back here at a quarter out. All right, let's get our seats, please. I'd like to call the full board meeting to order. Alice, can you call the roll, please?
Jeff Ballard. Lexi Walker-Tapley. Tom Barton.
Here.
Tom Bates.
Here.
Melissa Dunn. Here. Dennis Elmer. Chip Lindsey. Chris Mayor.
Here.
Jennifer Hanka. Kevin Reynolds.
Here.
Nick Rush.
Here.
Andrew Wiley.
Here.
Darrell Lack.
First, I'd like to say, again, welcome to Kevin to the board. Hopefully you'll fit in well and figure your meetings to figure out, you got to speak up a little bit. It can be very rewarding for us in the position we're in here to be able to help protect and guide the dealer business in the state of Virginia, whether new car, independent trailers, RVs, we regulate all those things under our pressure. I would like to move that we approve the July 8th, 2024 meeting summary. If there's no objections, we'll move forward with that. Public comments will be limited to those that are listed on the agenda. If you're, and I don't see anybody here to represent any of these folks here, but if there was, they could speak during their agenda item that comes up. Under committee reports, Andrew Wiley.
All right, Mr. Chairman, this morning the Dealer Practices Committee met. We approved our July 2024 meeting summary. We had a quorum, sorry. We approved our July 2024 meeting summary. There's no old business from the floor. And then under new business, we had 4 different cases, 4 tabs. The first tab, I will turn over to Wade.
Tab 1, TAG Auto Sports and James C. Taylor. Whereas the board has reviewed and considered the facts and evidence and the report of the informal fact-finding conference as prepared by the hearing officer concerning TAG Auto Sports and James Taylor for alleged violations of Virginia Code Section 46.2-1533, 46.2-1542B, and 46.2-1575, number 2. And whereas based on due consideration, the board believes that the following actions should be taken against TAG Auto Sports and James Taylor. 1, accept a civil penalty of $1,000. And 2, TAG Auto Sports shall be inspected by a motor vehicle dealer board field representative, and that inspection shall be satisfactory. And now therefore be it resolved that the board mandates that James Taylor hereby be assessed a civil penalty of $1,000, and the TAG Auto Sports dealership shall satisfactorily pass an inspection conducted by a motor vehicle dealer board field representative on or before December 9th, 2024. Therefore, be it further resolved by the board that failure to comply with the board's mandates by the required dates will result in the suspension of all licenses and certificates issued by the board until such time the TAG Auto Sports dealership and James Taylor successfully complied with the board's mandate.
Okay, Mr. Wiley, is that your motion?
Yes.
Okay. Is there anybody here from Tag Motorsports? Nope, if there is not, is there any discussion?
You second that one?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know.
No, you second that one. Nick Rush. Yeah.
I was gonna get to
Sorry.
that. Do we need to pull a first and a second? forward to
Get a
discuss?
second before you discuss.
I'm following. Okay, so the second was next. Mr. Wiley made the motion. Okay. Any discussion at all from the board? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Tab 2.
The Exclusive Auto Center in Mohammed Salem. Whereas the board has reviewed and considered the facts and the evidence and reported an informal fact-finding conference as prepared by the hearing officer concerning the Exclusive Auto Center in Mohammed Salem for alleged violation of Virginia Code Section 46.2-1500, 46.2-1529, 46.2-1548, and 46.2-1575, number 2. Whereas, based on due consideration, the board believes that the following actions should be taken against the Exclusive Auto Center and Mohammed Salem. 1, assess a civil penalty of $1,500. 2, the Exclusive Auto Center shall be inspected by a motor vehicle dealer board field representative,
and that inspection shall be satisfactory. And 3, Mohammed Salam shall successfully complete the 2-day dealer operator course. Now therefore be resolved that the board mandates that Mohammed Salam hereby be assessed a civil penalty. I'm sorry, civil penalty of $2,000, not correct, $2,000. Civil penalty of $2,000. And the exclusive auto center dealership shall be satisfactory fashion inspection conducted by a motor vehicle dealer board field representative on or before December 9th, 2024, and Mohammed Salam shall successfully complete the dealer operator course by December 9th, 2024. Therefore, be it further resolved by the board that failure to comply with the board's mandates by the required date will result in the suspension of all licenses and certificates issued by the board until such time the exclusive auto center dealership and Mohammed Salam successfully complies with the board's mandates.
Mr. Wiley, is that your motion?
It is indeed.
Second? Second, Melissa Dunn. Is there any discussion or anybody here to speak on behalf of exclusive auto sign? None, any discussion? Going first and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We're in tab 3, sir.
Okay, tab 3, I'm gonna give a quick summary before I go into the resolution as written. On this one here, the intent, a lot of discussion on Fairfax Motors, so a lot of things came out of this. But some things you need to be aware of. Number one, there's a suspension on the table for this dealership, it's not a problem. The problem that we have is that we can suspend them for 30 days, not a problem. But for them to come out of suspension, they're supposed to do an inspection. We got to give them a couple of days to get some records that we can inspect. We can't go back and inspect what we've already inspected. We've already failed. Okay, so if we suspend them for 30 days, no problem. We should give them probably another 30 days to acquire some things to look at so that we can inspect it again. Otherwise, we're inspecting what we've already inspected.
That makes good sense.
And also, another problem that we have with this is that, go ahead, Ms. John.
No, I think we had 30 days.
The thing was a minimum of 30 days suspension.
Yeah.
Okay. And for the record, if he doesn't pass the inspection, he's still suspended. He goes back in.
So give him 30 days
30 more days.
suspension, 30 days to comply, to get his records in order,
We
and
don't-
then another 30 days for DMV board to come in, the rep to come in.
We'll get it right, but I also want to know one thing also. There's a due process clause we have to give them. So in other words, normally we get the letters out within 2 days of the board meeting. In this time period, we have to give them basically 33 days to receive it, acknowledge it, and the right to appeal. That gives you time to October 14th. So I will have it worded to where everything that you're asking for will be in the letter and be covered with it. A little bit longer in your mind than what you.
So maybe like October 15th to November 15th, that they're suspended.
Unless he
Because
comes
of the
back,
letter.
and if he comes back and knowledge and say, okay, I accept it, now you can do it soon.
Okay,
So we'll base it off what we get from communication.
okay, because he'll still be able to have the opportunity to come before the board again.
And then how long does he have to appeal?
The appeal date will be in the letter. It's usually 33 days from the time. So when this goes out, you have to October the 14th to appeal. If he doesn't appeal, everything goes forward. Okay. So I just want you to understand, when I read it, it's going to be different maybe than when I explain something to people. We're going to take it. All right, with that said, everybody smile. Everybody okay. Whereas the board has reviewed and considered the facts and evidence and reported on the formal fact-finding conference as prepared by the hearing officer concerning Fairfax Motors and Kayla Shea for alleged violations of Virginia Code sections 46.2-1529, 46.2-1537, and 46.2-1542B. And whereas based on due consideration, the board believes that the following action should be taken against Fairfax Motors and Kayla Shea. 1, a civil penalty of $11,000. 2, suspend all licenses and certificates issued by the board for no less than 30 days. 3, Fairfax Motors shall be inspected by motor vehicle dealer board field representative and that inspection shall be satisfactory. And I think, we had the inspection within 30 days.
Right, right.
That's one. You fine. And number 3, a cable exchange shall successfully complete the 2-day deal operating course, which is for the 6-day period. I'll get more detail in a second. Now, therefore, be resolved by the board. Now, therefore, be resolved that the board mandates that a cable exchange hereby be assessed a civil penalty of $11,000, and the Fairfax Motors dealership shall satisfactorily pass an inspection, which we will determine the date and the thing. Also, that all licenses and certificates issued to them will be suspended for a period of no less than 30 days, and that Michaela Shea shall successfully complete the deal operating course by November the 9th, 2025. Therefore, be it further resolved by the board that failure to comply with the board's mandates and the required dates will result in suspension of all licenses and certificates issued by the board until such time that the Fairfax Motors dealership and Michaela Shea successfully comply with the board's mandates.
You said the class has to be completed by when?
Yep, you gave 6 minutes.
Oh, I thought you said November
No.
2025.
No. I did it wrong, 24.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Wiley, is that your motion?
Yes.
If it wasn't, I wasn't. Anyway.
I'm gonna ask you to repeat.
Yes, that's my motion. On this one here, please. Is there anybody here to speak on this behalf of Fairfax Motors? Okay, you've heard the motion, it's been seconded by Mr. Barton, all in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. And next tab 4, Mr. Childress.
Yes.
Yes on yes.
Whereas the board has received whereas the board has reviewed and considered the facts and evidence in the report of the informal fact-finding conference prepared by the hearing officer concerning Yes Auto Sales and Ahmad for alleged violations of Virginia Code Sections 46.2-1533 and 46.2-1575, number 2. And whereas based on due consideration, the board believes that the following action should be taken against Yes Auto Sales and Ahmad. 1, assess a civil penalty of $2,000. 2, Yes Auto Sales shall be inspected by motor vehicle dealer board field representatives, and that inspection shall be satisfactory. And 3, Ahmad shall successfully complete the 2-day dealer operating course. Now, therefore, be resolved that the board mandates that Ahmad hereby be assessed a civil penalty of $2,000, and the Yes Auto Sales motor dealership shall satisfactorily pass an inspection conducted by a motor vehicle dealer board field representative on or December 9th, 2024. And Ahmad shall successfully complete the dealer operator course by March 9th, 2025. Therefore, be it further resolved by the board that failure to comply with the board's mandates by the required date will result in suspension of all licenses and certificates issued by the board until such time Yes Auto Sales dealership and Ahmad successfully complies with the board's mandates.
Mr. Wiley, is this your committee's motion?
It is indeed, yes.
Do I have a second? Second by Kevin Reynolds. Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
All right, so there was no other new business from the floor. I guess just one comment that might be helpful for the VIEDA teaching this class and the folks that do our dealer certification, to just mention that the board, when it comes to violations of dealer practices, seems like they're taking a strong look at things, and that we should mention that to people taking those classes, that if they're in violation, that they really should show up and talk to us and be prepared for the consequences. And we scheduled our next meeting sometime in November to be determined, and the committee meeting was adjourned.
One thing I do tell the folks in the class, just to make sure we're all on the same page, I said that board is made up of very savvy, new car, independent, and also consumers on the board. Somebody who has no car vested interest at all. But I'm telling you right now, you're not going to pull their board over the eyes of those folks, because these folks have been around a lot. I mean, you look around the table, everyone in this room here is in the car business, actively making their living. So they're well prepared, whether they actually take that to heart or being said, we're gonna move on to, licensing, with my friend, Jeff Dowd.
Okay, the licensing committee met this morning, we did have a quorum. There were no public comments. Approve the July 2024 meeting with no objections. There's no old business. We have no items on the new business. New business from the floor. The next meeting will be November TBD.
To be determined. Thank you so much, Mr. Bowers. Okay, next, we have advertising with John Sullivan.
Yes, we had the advertising committee came to order, we had a quorum. There was no public comment, is there any public comment now? We approved the, July 8th, meeting summary. We had old business, we discussed, Tesla advertising update, social media platforms. Any discussion on that now?
For the record, I will show in the minutes that the committee vice chair conducting the meeting to remind the commissioner, the chairperson, that we have made a commitment for the together to look at this.
We'll bring that up next time.
Yeah, that'll be brought up.
Anything else, Mr. Sullivan?
Yeah, we had new business. Executive director talked about advertising educational update. Do you have any other further comments or questions on that? Yeah, well, our next meeting is scheduled to be announced in November. It was adjourned
Thank you, Mr. Sullivan.
eventually.
All right, next we have transaction recovery, with Mr. Tom Bates.
Transaction recovery, committee met, one was present, approved the previous meeting. No old business, no old business on the floor, no new business on the floor. November, to be determined date.
I'd like to comment. I'm encouraged at the low amount of transaction recovery. I mean, that means that we're doing a good job. William's doing a good job. The staff is doing a good job on keeping these folks between the lines. And so I just want to hand it to us as a board. You know, this is the lowest claims I've seen from transaction recovery in some time. And I don't want to get too excited and start, keep my horn, but I have to say it. We've done a good job. And that has to do with a lot of hard work without it.
We'll take it for granted. You finished? Your turn now. Good.
It is my turn. That's where you zip the clip.
I agree with what you said. I also agree. And chimed in quite a bit. And I think that's healthy. I think interaction is healthy. Getting some of these people that are in violation, hurt our consumers have been eliminated over time. And I think that's one of the reasons also for the lack of problems in the transaction recovery fund here. So I think the more we have quality people, franchise and other,
Well said. Well said. Okay, next under old business, Mr. Childress, the update on the dealer portal, please.
Yes, thanks, I appreciate that. The update is not pretty much been past two updates, but we're still meeting with the vendor to system automation and DMV IT team on the vehicle side to discuss interfaces. The interfaces is important, of course, because it's the data being transmitted between our portals through system automation back to DMV, to update DMV mainframe. And for those of you that are new, and for those of you who just come to a few meetings, DMV and the dealer board share the same dealer information. We use it for our business, but some of those same dealers are also salvage dealers. They're also rebuilders and other things. We share the same database. And in this process, DMV wants to make sure that the data they're receiving is in a format and at a frequency that will update their records timely. And also, when the update takes place, it's not causing any type of disruption or corruption to the file. So I'm hoping that this process, we think it's coming to an end here in terms of this agreement, in terms of what the firms look like. Obviously, I'm hoping that it will come to some
With, one of the questions I had is a wet signature going to be automated through this new process, through this new process? Does that happen?
I'm gonna say this is different, because what we're looking at from the dealership side is the application to apply for your salesperson's license, your dealership, and for your renewal. Okay. And so, this is what we're looking at on the spot right here. So, and with that said, the big picture for most people, right now, for the most part, when you apply for a license, whether it's a salesperson's license or dealership license, what the case may be, you put it in the U.S. Postal Service, we may receive it within 3 to 14 days if you send it out to you. Sometimes it takes a little longer, but it's very rarely it comes sooner. With this process we're trying to put in place, you can theoretically go into the system, put the application in, and you receive it in a matter of minutes. That long. And so we're looking at the possibility of eliminating U.S. mail in terms of getting things back to a lot sooner. Yes.
will be available for dealers within the near term. I also mentioned, to William that we'll work with the board, because you have to have your current buyer's order on file. Want to find a way so that they're not getting hundreds of buyer's orders mailed to them, all at one time. Maybe there's a way to, give them a copy of the form and a appraisal or something, just to work with just to not impact the workload.
Anything else?
No, that's it.
All right, Mr. Melendez. Continue kind of object.
Alvin Melendez, with the VIVA. I want to introduce one of our new staff members, Warren Kaiser. She's my executive director and also knowledge for the VIVA. And then just this working group that we're trying to create for the Tesla, I would like to just make a notice to see if they can also include the VIVA and the VIVA.
All right, thank you, Alan, and welcome, Lauren. With all the great Okay, is there any old business to move forward? Any new business from Tom Bates? Go ahead, sir.
I just want to know where we are on the Rivian.
Rivian's got a new application in for, did you want to comment on that at all, William?
I can be, well, I'm gonna stay away from it, but what I'm saying is, what I'm saying is, actually, Rivian's application is DMV for hearing process, so that's all, we have no knowledge.
So do we get a notice when the hearing will be?
You get my, do you know about that? I mean, you don't-
No, they don't. I mean, they have to do a public notice. We get the hearing list. I think it's published on the DMV website, and I don't remember what that hearing date is right off the top of my head. I know Alex kind of does report it. Sometimes I have to say that.
So you'll know when the hearing date is, or?
I do. I mean, I just don't know right off the top of my head. I've seen the dates on, list of active.
Do you know when it is, Alan?
I don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember right off the top. I'll send it to you.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll send it to you.
Sounds like this might be outside of our.
It is. It's a DMV hearing. It's a DMV hearing. It's not the dealer board.
Okay, so any new business from the floor? Hearing none, William, I'm gonna let you tackle it to be determined on the November, next board meeting. And then we'll roll right from there into your executive direction.
Okay, well, in the email I sent to you guys one night, and I was up bored to death, nothing else to do, and invite the board members and wake them up. So there's no way to do working with the members. November the 11th, which is our normal meeting date, is the Veterans Holiday, so we'll be closed. And that's what Tom came in. And trying to use a little bit of logic that I learned years ago. One of my mother's requirements was when you come speaking, you better have a logical solution. I tried to use that logic this particular night. November the 5th is election day. Some people may not be in town or may be tied up doing other things after the election. They want to do that. And November the 12th, which is a Tuesday, would mean that some of you as business people will be working in business for 2 days. And that would be that as well. So the week of the 25th, of course, is Thanksgiving week. The only thing that was really up as an option to me was November 18th. It was a very normal place. I couldn't find nothing to say that would work. This is why I proposed that day in the first place. I think Mr. Mayor at first came back with it wasn't a good time for him, but since then he's made adjustments to the schedule, so he can be available. So my understanding would be that for the most part, unless there's some reason not to do it on that day. Well, let me go back first of all. The other option would be not to have a meeting in this room. So we have too many cases. We not have we have to meet in the room from the license. And we have statutory requirements that we must do certain things in time periods of cases. So the only thing I can see those available to make sense is November 18th. But you guys are the ones that will be meeting and time out your schedule. So those days that you decide to go with will be held like that.
With Thanksgiving, those things coming up, the 18th and around that time, could we possibly move it to work my day, something like that?
Well, the 5th is an option, but that's election day.
Yeah, you have to,
6th.
you have that, you want to meet a big other than regular chief, and what you got?
Do they think?
7th.
18.
I'm good with 18. On a vote, you can't make it, you're one person, you can't make it on the 18th. I get it, but I think the 18th was a good call by way, and after further reviewing it and talking to my other partners, deal with it, we're all handling the 18th in a good day, so.
Just so we can all take a vote on, is everybody okay with the 18th? Aye. Any opposed?
I have a question. I won't be here the 18th,
Yes, sir.
which is why but for this, Tesla reconvene with the commissioner, I would like maybe to postpone that till the next.
I don't think he's gonna do anything example. Give you a time frame.
Okay, I just don't want to not be here.
Nothing's not gonna happen.
Okay.
All right, so we have a meeting on the 18th, and that's good. And that,
We know it.
yep, doing that. So the 18th of November is our next board meeting and then the committee meetings. And then we roll into your executive director report.
Yes, yes. First of all, let me say that, last meeting, I believe I informed you or updated you on staff issue that we were having. I think I told you that we had 2 staff members that were out on short-term disability. And in that process, we could not replace them or have to deal with it. So which means a lot of times, a lot of the, applications for salespeople, applications for new dealerships, applications for renewal, all done by people who were out on short-term disability. So we were down 40% in that area. It has been so since May. It's been very challenging, but I also told you that the staff has been staying after hours, to get these things done. And just for the record, when I say after hours, we don't pay overtime. It's something that has to be done, and they've been gracious to give their time to get it done. And at some point along the way, I will find somebody to reward them for their sacrifice. But, so we don't do that because we don't have a flexible, so we have to get the work done. One of those 2 people has returned to work, returned last week. Hopefully she will, didn't give us a while still, but, and the second person has not returned yet, and I'm not sure if she will return, but there's a process in place to the state system that after a certain period of time, we will be allowed to advertise and fill the position. So we're still another person. We're headed to a little bit slower time of the year for us, which is probably a good thing right now, but we will get the work done. It may take a phone call from you or somebody sometimes to pull things ahead, but that's what it takes. We're doing the best we can with what we have. I thank you for your consideration. I thank you for your patience, and I thank the dealer community for the most part. We never had too many complaints about this, but we have to try to address it as best we could at the time we receive the complaint. So I'm going to do that. Since then, I have 2 people on board now that were not here in the last meeting. My IT resource, if you remember, left us in June. We advertised the position, got applications. I did not see anything in the pool that made me feel comfortable, so I just hired anybody, didn't really need to. What I did is this: I went to a headhunter for lack of a term, to find somebody to stand in position, and I'm introduced again Tyler Hubbard, who you met earlier. Tyler is that contractor who's on board with us. But I also want you to know that Tyler's in a unique position. He's in a position where he gets to try us out, and we can try him out. So in other words, maybe in a couple of months, we might advertise to again, and he's going to apply for it and hopefully get some him. So he's on the job training. I would tell you that, hold on a second, Tyler, cover you. He's doing a great job. I want to know that because he might slack off a little bit. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, right.
So we'll see how it works. Second of all, we had a position vacated and Ann Major moved from her analyst educator position to the operations manager. And so Natasha Hill, who please stand. Natasha Hill joined us 2 weeks ago. That's 2 weeks. I hired her a long time ago. She took a vacation and came in later. She's here. That's all that matters. Welcome aboard.
Welcome.
The commissioner's here, the chairman's here. He might not be happy with you right now because I stole Natasha from you to do it.
She was the Newport News Customer Service Center Manager. She comes to us with a lot of community experience, a lot of supervisor experience, and the experience she has in terms of just basic DMV stuff, child registration, those things are always advised. She's agency hours and educational person to work with the association. So right now we're only down technically one position, we had one position. We're not down, she's just out on short-term disability. So any questions about that, we move to the next item. Okay, and I guess the only thing I have for you is information, I guess, notice to you, I am retiring from state service, effective Wednesday, January 20th. So, I put my notes into the board on, message board, to the board chairman and to the, Secretary of Transportation on August 22nd. And, as of this board meeting, I don't have any idea of what the plan is to find my successor. But I did my retirement paperwork. I did let it be known to the Secretary of Transportation and to the board chairman that my intent was to remain around to help train my successor. But I can't hang around. December, sometime in my last work day, then the first night I was trying to get. But we'll see what happens. I mean, I don't want to leave the time dry because what a lot of people don't understand is in a lot of state positions, we don't have backups and everything that I'm doing on my staff right now, nobody can let us. And so it's important that we have some also my replacement to show them what's done. There's a whole process before board meetings, a process after board meetings. At the same time, the process that takes place, we want to know about the response. I do want to say to the board members, I've been here since February of 2016. This has been I've enjoyed it so far. I can really say that each board meeting is different. Each board meeting is unique. I met some great people. I've learned a lot about the industry that I had no idea existed. Had I known this industry existed the way it does now, I would have thought about it. I wish I could have made that much. But I think all of you are unique people, special people in terms of what you do. You have a great deal of patience. You have savvy, you have vision. For the most part, I enjoy talking to you. The association membership. I've known Ann probably longer than everybody. She was one of the few people. You can blame Ann for that. Because Ann was the one who got me hired over at DMV in the first place. So anything that you might not like, go back to Ann. She's the only time I hired me as the director of this. Let's talk to Alvin. I think he's done a great job. Soon, man of the DIADA. But just in general, the people around this table that I'm trying to work with, you all come to work with the attitude of let's get it done. I think your motives, I think your expressions, the things you say are sincere and on point, and I just feel very pleasant working. I am not going to retire, sit at home in a chair. I'm the person to believe that you start sitting there and doing nothing, then you start preparing yourself for the final phase of life. I'm not ready for that. I will be working. But yeah, my effective date is January 1st, 2020.
I want to thank you for your services. Thank you, Jen.
As the vice chair and as somebody who's been on this board longer than anybody, I got to tell you that I was also involved in William's hiring and for the dealer board. And William proved to me prior to that process who he was when he was at DMV and I needed help. I did what any other dealer would do. I was straight to the association. I said, I've got a big problem with this DMV and front roll, and I don't know what to do. They won't process my repo back. And I got on the phone with William, and it didn't take once but twice to get them to understand what the process was. But William stayed with me all the way through, answered my phone, solved the problem. I knew he was the right person for the job. I'm very thankful.
Yes.
That being said, I talked to the commissioner this morning. There will be a process in place. He's already talked to leadership in the state of Virginia. There's no intention to change the board structure in any way whatsoever. And they're working on a replacement that will probably come from a committee internally, probably the association, and a number of us here in this room now, new car and independent dealers as well, that'll help make that choice. It'll be a hard seat to fill because William has brought an incredible amount of experience to this room here and been a great benefit to us right there. So I want you to know that's under control, and by no means is it going to harm us, but we're just thankful, William, again for everything you've done for us.
Now, I do have one point for you on that. Christian might need to be involved because remember, so many board members together constitute a public meeting. I don't think you want to have to buy this election at a public.
I'm sure that's being taken care of right now as we speak, and they're all aware of that. And yeah. So, is there anything else? Nothing else. That being said, we'll adjourn. We'll see you guys here on November the 18th. Thank you, everybody.